Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm hiding behind the wood boiler here, so hopefully the wind isn't too bad. Today is garden day. I want to get going on this, and I'm trying to make better use of my time. So this year we don't really have the time, because we would need to get new bales for some of it, to go through the time of conditioning them, all that stuff that Melissa does. So I said, you know what, and her work is getting so busy, and so it's less and less time. So I said, you know what, this year we want to switch over to doing raised beds because it's less like maintenance every 2 years with the bales. So I said, you know what, I don't have time to do that this spring. I may have time later on, but right now there's so many projects. I mean, I've got the guest house going. We just went up to the tent. We have one or two more weekends planned within the next month going to the tent, her and I. And we want to get away and do some fishing on other lakes, taking the fish house or, camper. So anyway, I'm going to drag the bales out of here. It's too much for me to keep up with, like mowing the middle part and trying to keep everything under control. And some of the bales now are getting Creeping Charlie on them, which you can see is right here. And it's just, you can't really keep in front of this stuff very good. You can keep it at bay enough to grow vegetables and stuff, but it's getting everywhere. This stuff came from the hobby farmhouse. I must have brought some kind of plants up here that had it. And because it wasn't here before, and it's everywhere. And I mean, that's not the main reason. I had a lot of Creeping Charlie down there. I can deal with that. Some semi pulling a trailer. But I just want to yank all this out of here and then till the whole thing up, plant the garden, and then as things later on in the season, when things slow down for me some, I'll go ahead and build a raised bed for next year. Like once the beans are done, I can build one before the ground freezes and everything. There'll be time. I do my best gardening right in the dirt. That's what I'm used to. So, and with Melissa getting busier and busier with work, I enjoy going out there and spending 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, weeding every night or every other night, and I'll have a chance to do that. way easier taking them out than it was putting them in. I'm gonna run up because I'm gonna go to Super One today and get a chicken meal for lunch. And then this afternoon come out here and get this tilled up. I hope I can just think about how many strings from the bales might be in here somewhere and get wrapped around the tiller. I mean, I gotta till this up. I have cardboard underneath here, which should have pretty much rotted away now, but get it tilled up because it's still a good 2 weeks at least before you can plant in the garden. Last night it got down to 30 degrees. Now I'll wait like 2 days until this up. Today is getting to 78 degrees. It's got to be close now. But I think tomorrow's high is only like 60. This time of year when it gets warm like this, it's just fooling with you. But let these roots get killed off from the sun and the wind, and then I'll till it again and expose some more. I do think that that raised bed right there is going to be getting pulled out of here. I'll have to ask Melissa. She might not want to. The worst part is we've got asparagus over here that was really growing nice last year, but it only takes up about maybe a quarter to a third of this whole thing. And then to have to pull that and replant, I think it was already 3-year roots. Now they've been in there for 3 years, so they're 6th year. You're still going to lose a year, but we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to just get rid of this. Now it's just an eyesore to me, but if she wants me to till this down and weed that out. Another bad thing is that the dirt that's in here, I took from that pile back there that I think was, since this used to be a cabinet shop at one time, I think that was where they dumped all the sawdust and it turned into dirt. So it's not super good dirt for growing. It really kind of sucked. If I would have added it in with some more like organic matter or something, so we'll see. But for right now it's tilled up. I'm as far as I can go. Things are already starting to brown up some from the sun. I might go through this stuff here, shake it up and get the string out of it, and then put some of it back on the garden and till it back in. I'm not sure. There's another part of me that wants to take the tractor and just start pushing and push it all the way back to the woods, which is exactly what I might end up doing. Let the tarps dry out so I can fold them up and put them away. Springtime is such a mess. I just came out here to the nightmare of a strawberry garden that we still get buckets and buckets of strawberries out of, even though it's all grown into the grass. I don't know what I'm going to do in here. This needs to go into raised beds also eventually, but I don't know if I'm going to go in here and till between the rows this year. I'll figure that out within the next week, but I wanted to look at this This is that grapevine that my brother John gave me last year. And I put it over here, and remember I said it's kind of a fend for yourself, and it's got all kinds of leaves just about to come out. This top part here looks dead, but otherwise it's doing pretty good. So I would think this year that might take off, because I planted that, I don't know, halfway through the year last year, and let it just grow right up this fence. And that's pretty cool. I was out here a couple weeks ago looking at it, and I didn't know what was going on, but it looks alive now. I want to take a look at the cherry trees and the apple trees too. This one in here is the plum tree, and it looks like a lot of the branches have leaves coming out on them. A few of them don't, but all the way to the top. Haven't got anything off this one yet. The only thing we got anything off from so far is the one cherry tree. We got like 3 cherries last year. So this one here is the, what is it called? Mount Royal plum. This one here is a crab apple, which is here as a pollinator if needed. This is a pear tree. It looks to me like the top part of it is dead. We'll see. I mean, you can see the leaves coming out down below. This one I think was the same kind of pear, or maybe just a different kind, but it pollinates. Let's see, what's the name on this one? This one is a golden spice pear, and it's good all the way to the top. What a healthy looking tree. And this one where the top looks dead is not. It's a U-R-E pear. That one doesn't look like it's quite as hardy. I'm going to have to come in and trim some of these kind of branches back. I already did that over by the honeyberries. I trimmed those back, but I'm going to walk around with the chainsaw and trim some of these back. That winter, that ice and stuff really did a number on them. This one is the cherry. What kind of cherry is this? Evans Delicious, I think it says. What a healthy looking tree. Everything is budding out. Very nice. This is an apple, and it's got leaves coming out all over. I don't see anything that looks dead. What kind was this? Is this a Zest Star? Come on now. Yeah, that's a Zest Star. And I think this one over here is a Zest Star also. Yep, and that tree looks very healthy also. And then this one over here, which is my Honeycrisp, my favorite kind of apple tree. Now there's a couple of dead branches. I don't know. If you look just above the white protector there, it's got, I don't know if that is like it gets sunburned or windburned in the winter. My one up north at the tent did the same thing, and then it kind of dies off. And I just do not have good luck with I had great luck with them down. I planted an apple tree every single property that I had. And I've had Honeycrisp planted 4 properties now. This will be like the 5th. And they did good and got apples, but up here it must just not quite be the right zone or something. Or I just got something bad about where this is. But anyway, it's growing. We'll see what happens though. It doesn't look very healthy. Here again, I have to come in and trim those up. I'm actually noticing last year, these must just come to a certain cycle and then die, because there are some of the bigger ones are dead. I noticed looking around the edges, like when you look between the garage where the fish house is, looking straight back across, some of those are dying off. And what are they? Speckled elder or some kind of elder. But once again, it really pushed them over. So I might want to trim them back some, because this is where, here it's all blackberries, and if they all fall down on there, it's not going to get enough sunlight. Or, you know, if they're shading it like this. A lot of people ask about Melissa's bees, but they were not healthy at all last year. She was super unhappy with the nukes when she got them. They never were a real strong hive, and by middle of October or so, they were both gone. I don't know if they swarmed or died off or whatever, but she said she will never buy them from there again. Got the nuke out of the truck. It was a rainy day, and the nuke itself was wet. It's like the truck didn't, I don't know if it wasn't waterproof or whatever, and she was just real unhappy. And I think they came out of Texas or something, and like she said, if you're gonna buy a bee that was like born and raised up here. The snow really did a number on this, because look at this is the big raspberry patch that we get buckets and buckets of raspberries out of. And the snow really pushed everything down, and you can see they're green in there, but they're not up. But, you know, fend for yourself farm when it comes to stuff like this. So we'll see what happens. Seems like every other year we get a bumper crop. And this would be an off year because we got a lot last year, so we'll see what happens. And like we have this patch here that produces so much. And then we've got this patch right here. I mean, originally, when we moved in, this was all one big patch. I've come through here and cleared all of this. It was raspberries going all the way back. And we get nothing out of this one. I mean, you'll get a couple you can nibble on, but you never would get even a quarter of a cup. So it's just so weird. They're so close together. Should be the same sunshine, I think, but who knows? Maybe those trees do have an effect on it. I'm not sure. And these are all of her honeyberry bushes. Look at all the flowers on that. Sure hope the bees come out pretty soon. Oh, there was just a little bug flying on it. Because we haven't got any honeyberries yet, but I've never seen them flower like that. They are doing great this year. And you can see I cut this all back. There were some of these that were hanging over it from the snow, and yeah, they're doing awesome. Oh yeah, even this end one has it. And the deer, we covered them up last year, 2 years ago. I didn't get out here in time to cover them, and the deer have not, like that one's chewed off. And I see the deer every morning eating out in the back field, and they haven't got here and chewed them all off, so that's awesome. This is a tree. This can get pulled out of here. That's a popple tree. I'm gonna have to go tell Melissa that there's hundreds of flowers on here. She's gonna be so excited. The rhubarb on the side of the chicken coop building is coming up nice. Look at all that creeping Charlie. Must have got a lot of it from, that had to, oh no, that could have come from, these right here are daylilies that were my mom's. So they would have came from my grandma had a garden at the hobby farmhouse. It was some of hers, I don't know, but that could be where it came from. All of this right here is stinging nettles. I usually mow that down, but you guys saw me harvest it last year. I'll probably end up harvesting those back ones. Chickens were out twice now, and they like to chew these down. The hostas are coming up. That one is. Oh yeah, this one is too. I need to hook up to this thing now and move it. I don't want the grass underneath it to die. I like the grass right here. So I'm trying to figure out if I should move it over and put it where the fifth wheel was, which I have to do first so I can unwinterize it, turn on the water, make sure everything works because we have the sewer hook up there, water there, and then figure out where I'm going to put it. Because I still think I might want to pull the fifth wheel up there and hook that up for the season in case anybody wants to come and stay. The rhubarb on the side of the house is all coming up. It's weird how one comes up so fast and this one is slower. You know what might have happened though? I put a ton of salt on that roof right there because there was a huge ice dam and we actually had it leaking in the house a little bit because the water backed up, and that could have stunted it. Daylilies, these were all here when we moved in. More rhubarb here. And I need to get this set up, the sink, because it's covering up. There's mint underneath there that grows. I think I'm going to go ahead and till up the potatoes again today. I really want to get those in the ground as soon as possible, and I might plant onions in this garden too, since deer don't really bother the onions, so they don't have to be fenced in. Look at that root system in there, huh? I talked to Melissa after she got home, and yeah, we're going to yank this out. And then where the asparagus plants are, we're just going to have to carefully take them out, bare root, and replant them. I was looking in here, and I don't see any of them starting yet. Like here's where there was one. And I mean, these are some nice, we've harvested quite a few last year, but they aren't up yet. I think when I do this, rather than try to spread it around in the garden, I'm just going to try to take and scoop it with the tractor and go dump it back either right where it came from or farther back into the woods, because otherwise that's a lot of grass crap to have to deal with. Problem is, I would like to scoop from this side over, and this is the area to about here where all of the asparagus is. So I don't know that I can fit around, and maybe I can get around this side. I'll see. The sky looks like it's going to rain or something. It's just a weird sky, but it doesn't come from that direction. It usually always comes from over here. Just before we went up for fishing opener, I loaded this up for what I said was going to be the last time. I even had a video clip saying it, but that's not making it into any video. But then I got back, you know, it had been 3 days since I put any wood in it, and I kept the fan going, and you know how it's been working. It shuts off at 180. Now it's set at 5-degree difference, so it comes on at 174. And it was down to 85 degrees, the water. And I was going to just shut off the, I can just turn the whole thing off. It doesn't matter. And then just every week or so, turn on the pump to circulate the water just to keep everything good. And then I thought, you know what, I've got this mess. And I had a pretty good pile of this slab wood. So I opened it up and I took my little hoe thingy and moved all the ashes around, and sure enough there was still some coals in there, so I threw in 2 loads like that last night, and it fired it right up, and you know, it got down to 39 degrees or whatever it was. Like, no, it was 30 degrees because it went below freezing. And now it's showing 162. And I'm just gonna put some more in there tonight, and I'm just gonna get this stuff burned up so I don't have to move it anywhere. I mean, it's gonna be only get down to 54, I think, tonight, and then 70 tomorrow. And then it's gonna be another night where it's like 43 degrees. So I might as well burn it for a couple more days, get this wood burned up so that I don't have to move it anywhere, and then just let it shut down. The whole pile is completely cut. Well, that's it for tonight. It's 8 o'clock. I need to take a shower. Last night I finished up one of 2 tent videos, and tonight I'm going to start the second one. Relax for a couple hours doing that, and then time for bed. See what happens tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It's a little bit windy to try to film and talk, but I didn't film anything yesterday. I finished up the 2 tent videos and got one of them uploaded, and the other one finished editing. And then it was windy out yesterday, and it was 64 degrees. Today's high is 60. It got down to 34 degrees last night, 30 degrees the night before. But I want to get these potatoes in because we're getting rain tomorrow. And I need to get them in the ground anyway. Soil is still cold, so I'm doing a row and a half of red and a row and a half of russet. And then I'm going to do some onions over here, and I'll have extra potatoes, so I might put a row in the big garden, you know, I'm sure I'll have some space. For those of you that are new and haven't watched me do this before, I have an in-depth video on the whole entire life cycle of a potato, planting to harvest, over on Joe and Zach Survival. That has millions of views. I know it has over 1 million. I don't know. That one might have over 2 or 3 million. I can't remember, but it shows you how I do this. I plant them 1 shovel length deep instead of hilling them later. I don't have time for hilling. And I mean, I'm planting 33 potatoes here, and you can easily take these, you know, and cut them so that you have an eye on each one. I usually buy enough so I can just plant the whole potato, and then as this potato rots, it kind of feeds the plant. That's my way of thinking anyway. In the fall, some of these you'll dig up and they'll still be part of a slimy potato down there. Potatoes are in, 33 plants. That'll give us 350 to 400 potatoes. I have some onions in. I'm going to plant more of them in the bigger part of the garden. That's a bad place to plant onions, so I made them 8 inches apart because the weeds and the grass are going to be constantly trying to move in from that left side. So if I can get my hoe in between them, I've done it before where I planted them 3 inches apart. I've done that several times, and you can get, even living here, if you go back a couple of gardens, you can really get a lot of onions in a short amount of space, but weeds are your biggest enemy. And if you can't keep the weeds out, you're not getting anything. I would say weeding is more important than watering. I really think that's true. Sometimes you get enough rain to do the garden, but the weeds you just have to keep under control. Today ended up being pretty productive. I was originally just going to take the mowers out of the garage so that I could get the snowmobile in there. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to mow a little bit. And then ended up mowing for about 3.5 hours. It looks really nice though. Starting to get some of this chaos organized around here. It's always like this in the spring. Good morning, everybody. It's a few minutes after 4 o'clock. Melissa's in the shower. I'm already done. Today we have to get Brandon to the hospital because he has some surgeries they're going to do on his leg. Well, we brought Brandon in this morning and he had surgery on his leg. They did 3 of them. And now he's back home here recovering. We won't know for a while if that worked and everything, so time will tell. I thought I'd better get out here and get this tilled again. You can see there's a lot of green that still has to get killed off. Drop the fish house back down. Melissa and I are going to do a few things out here tomorrow, and I think I'm going to hook onto it and move it over to where the 5th wheel usually sits so I can hook water up to it, make sure everything works, get the antifreeze out of the lines, and just make it all come alive and see how it is.
I think it's important too to have different kind of beans. Because beans taste different. That's such an easier way. With the,
it is, and it isn't going to fall off. It isn't going to do anything.
It's not going to fade.
No.
Beans. We've got biscuits.
Got all that freeze-dried stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, well, it's almost time for bed. Nice night. The wind finally died down. I think tomorrow, today it was only in the 40s. Tomorrow it's going to get up into the 70s. The wind has switched around and won't be off the lake. I think I said already, you know, Brandon had surgery and, you know, we won't know. It's painful. And it'll be painful tomorrow, the day after. And as time goes on, we'll find out, you know, how that went. We stopped and got Taco Bell because Brandon wanted that for lunch and brought that home and had that. I took about a 20-minute nap because I'm not deer hunting and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning was early. And then tonight now, Melissa, you know, I was out there earlier and I tilled up that garden again. And then tonight, Melissa and I took the vacuum sealer and did 40 pounds of beans, 40 pounds of rice, and 40 pounds of flour. And I think with that batch, because we've got a lot of stuff stored here, I think I'm going to bring that up to the tent because Melissa and I are going up there next weekend. Actually, I'm going to go up on Thursday. I think she might be up Thursday night also. And bring that up there, put it in a bin, and keep it stored up there. Good morning, everybody. 34 degrees. It's going for 73 today. We're going to do a fish fry and cook up that fish that we got up at the tent. Homemade French fries and shrimp for lunch. What are you doing, big boy? Big boy. What are you doing, huh? I cleaned up these fryers, and now I'm filtering. I'm using one of my filters that I use for syrup, and I'm filtering the oil. All cleaned up and ready. It's only 8:15 right now, but a couple hours we'll fire those things up. Decided to come out and see if I see any morel mushrooms growing. I put bug spray on my shoes and on the lower part of my pants to keep ticks away. I'm gonna let the chickens out when I get back. They eat a lot of them, keep them away from the house. Got some fiddleheads started right there. Could get thousands of them back here. Definitely getting buzzed by mosquitoes. That season is here. Just love to find one. At the hobby farmhouse, on that back hill behind the chicken cages, there was tons of them. And up here, I was talking to Jeff Ryan, who's a friend and somebody that watches the channel. And he found some in his spot, which is north of here. But up here, I don't know if they're black morels, or they're the dark ones. I remember it was so exciting the first time I saw my first one at the hobby farmhouse. Would love to find some here. Look at all the pretty flowers on the, aren't they pin cherries or whatever they are? And one mosquito buzzing in front of the camera. More fiddleheads. No morels. Look at that deer track there. Somebody's got some weight on them. I haven't seen anything so far. I gotta head back to the house because I gotta start that oil up if we're gonna do those fish, and I've got to get the potatoes put through the little thingy that makes them into French fries. Hurry up with those dishes.
Somebody's lost their mind today.
a real musical gust. And it's ominous. This is not the kind I want.
We've had it before. But if you only want to do part of it with that and do part with something else, we can. Well, that's enough for today. I like getting the fields mowed if I can in the spring before everything gets too long with the regular mower, because it gives it, now when it rains and it comes up green, it'll give it a golf course look. When I come in with the tractor, which is faster, and I don't want to hook the big mower up to the tractor yet. There's still a few things I want to do with the tractor before I have the mower hanging off the back. That gives it a different look. It gives it a look like, you know, they just baled the hay and pulled the bales off. So I'm glad I got this. I'll finish up that other one tomorrow. I think it's going to be nice tomorrow. And then everything will be mowed down for the first time this year. I just mowed this part, what was it, 2 days ago? Maybe it was 3. It needs it again already. Forklift started right up. You always got to give it some starting fluid in the spring after, you know, it's been 6 months since it was run. Starting to look nice around here. I'm going to go inside now. It's about 7:30, a little after 7:30. Svenguli's on. I think I'm going to grab a beer. Good morning, everybody. This morning I went up and had to do some shopping at Walmart, do a Walmart pickup, and then they didn't have something that Melissa needed, some Mount Olive sweet relish, which is the only thing she uses in potato salad. So then I had to go to Super One and get that. And now I got back here and fired up the grill. We're gonna do baked potato. I'm doing ribeyes, and then I got some bratwurst I'm gonna do on there also, so we'll have something to eat for a couple days. We still have fish in there, but with 3 of us eating it, there's probably, we'd have enough for lunch today, but that's about it. Potatoes have been in there for a while and they're getting soft, so I put the brats in there. And I have the ribeyes are all seasoned up. We were in the house this morning and Melissa said, "What is that sound?" She said, "It sounds like there's a flamethrower going off into the basement." And for the last probably 3 weeks, the pump that pumps the water out of the sump basket for this one here was making some weird noise. First it sounded like that whiny jet engine sound, and then it was really weird yesterday. And what the new sound is if you guys remember back from, I don't know, it's been a couple of years now at least, I put in a second pump down there, brand new, real nice one, just in case this one were ever to burn out, because it would flood the basement in the spring. And it burned out finally, so the new one kicked in, and it doesn't put the water out right here though. It shoots it out in this mess of a corner, and I've never run it any farther because it was just an emergency one. It's a real fast pump too. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching. I forgot to film lunch when it was done. After lunch I came out here and finished mowing this back field. Temperature got up to 68 today and now it's down to 50 last time I looked. It's been dropping this afternoon. I will see you guys on the next video.